It starts at the very beginning, that we have an environment that is inviting, an environment that makes them feel important. And I think that's probably the number one thing. Everyone has a voice. We try and teach literacy in this manner. On the very first day is when it all begins. And we have what's called a morning message. And while we're reading the morning message, they are learning fluency. They're learning how to recognize the words that they're reading. Well, we do this on a daily basis, of course. So then it becomes familiar to them, and all of the fluency becomes familiar to them, and the punctuation and what that means.
Uppercase I in morning.
Uppercase I in the middle of morning. We can't have an uppercase letter in the middle of a word. When it comes time to do their own reading in their individual books that they take home nightly, then those skills will be there already because we've done that during our morning message. And so they will learn how to track the print just as we do. They're also finding sight words and other words that are familiar to them. So as they are tracking the print, they're going to think, oh yeah, I remember that word. That word was in the morning message. So it's very familiar to them, and that's what we want. When we started writing, we would draw pictures, and the next step was just labeling those pictures. Now we've moved beyond that. We're not just labeling the pictures, we're actually writing complete sentences. Does it make sense? Does it make sense to you when you write it? They were also going back, doing their own editing of uppercase letters versus lowercase letters. Were there any reversals? Do I have the proper punctuation? Number sense is really important in kindergarten because we all know, early on it may be, 1 + 1 is 2. Well, really? Well, how did you derive at that answer? What does that look like? That's basically what number sense is. What does that look like?
Okay. That's a pattern.
Yes, that's a definite switcheroo. Gaining a good number sense is also having many different activities that will help them truly understand what that means. What I'm most proud of is that I am given the latitude to think creatively. Therefore, I can do so many things with these students that maybe somewhere else I wouldn't be able to do because I might be bound to, the day or the time frame. But I love that I can ask my kids, does that make sense to you? Are you getting it? Do we need to try it a little bit longer? And some of them will say, oh, I need a little bit more help. Can we try it a little bit longer? So then we will until they get it. We don't just move on to the next thing if they're not getting it. It's really important that teachers understand what teaching truly is. You want them to be sponges and you want them to want more. That is the goal. The Kindergarten Senior Buddy program is one of my favorite aspects of the year. They get together once a month and do wonderful activities. The kindergartners and the seniors form a relationship that can last lifelong. They converse and they get to know each other, and when they see their senior buddies playing basketball or tennis or whatever it may be, or just simply see them in the hall, they recognize them. We are all under one roof, which makes it fantastic. That is a wonderful thing about Barstow, that we are all under one roof. We get to know the entire community, not just the kindergarten class or just lower school. When I talk to my colleagues around the region and I share with them all of the wonderful things we're doing in kindergarten, they say, "You're doing that in kindergarten? Really, in kindergarten?" And of course that just makes me feel so good because we are doing things at Barstow that you won't see in the average kindergarten.